Hi there, I'm Jerry Detweiler. I'm Education Director for NAV, and we are going to talk today in our office hours about business credit cards. I'm going to answer some questions, and I'd also love to hear your experiences. So whatever you're using for credit cards in your businesses, I'd love to hear your pros, cons, what you like, what you don't like, what you're looking for. Feel free to share those in the comments below. So I'm going to start with some questions that I received in advance, and then we'll go to any questions that come in during the discussion. So Emily asked, what is the best credit card for an LLC? And then Logan asked a similar question, which is, what does it matter if I am a sole prop, LLC, S Corp, or whatever? So we're talking here about the business structure. Your business is incorporated, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp. It doesn't really matter as far as the business credit card issuers are concerned, what entity you have. In fact, you can usually get a small business credit card as a sole proprietor as well, which means you don't have a formal legal entity. Now, I recommend that you incorporate your business in some way, shape, or form for many reasons, but it won't impede you from getting a small business credit card no matter what the structure of your business. Many of the business credit cards, I'll talk about this in a minute, are available to very young businesses and startups, so that shouldn't stop you as either. All right, so let's go to another question we got here in advance, and that was from Brent. He said, I just started my business. Can I qualify for a business credit card? And the short answer is very likely you can. Most of the small business credit card issuers, in fact, all the major small business credit card issuers, make their decision based on the owner's personal credit as well as income from all sources. So if you've just started a business on the side, for example, and you don't have a lot of revenue from the business yet, but you do have personal income from your day job, or maybe even your spouse is still employed full-time and would pitch in if you needed to make that payment, that could be included on your application and could be used to help you qualify for the small business credit card. So one thing I like about starting early with a small business credit card is that most of them report to at least one of the major small business credit reporting agencies. So if you want to build business credit and get away from using personal credit in your business, a business credit card is a great way to get that reference. So I'm going to link to an article down below in the comments, and that's a list of all the major small business credit card issuers and the commercial or business credit bureaus that they report to. So you can see which credit cards report to which business credit bureaus and will help you build business credit. Of course, with any kind of credit building, you want to make sure you pay on time, keep your debt under control. But if you do that, you can definitely build some business credit. All right. And Ryan said, business rewards versus rewards on personal credit cards. What about APRs? What about additional benefits? So this is a great question. How do business credit cards stack up against personal credit cards? Now, here's the bottom line. Credit card issuers love small business customers, and they love small business customers because the data show that they spend more. They use those cards for lots of purchases, and that's what the issuers are after. They're after that spend volume. Here's one curious thing I found with business owners, and that is that some of them are still relying heavily on business debit cards and on checks. Now, there's sometimes when you can only write a check, but there are plenty of purchases where you could switch over to using a credit card. You'd have greater protection because there's fraud protection for credit cards that doesn't exist with your business checking or with your business debit card. And you can also earn rewards for those purchases. So I recently did an article where I interviewed business owners about how they use their rewards, and it was phenomenal what they were doing. I mean, one business owner said he hasn't paid for any personal travel for the past few years because his business credit card rewards pay for all his family's trips, including some really nice ones. Another business owner said he takes his 2% cash back from his business credit card and he piles that up, and then he uses that to throw his holiday party at the end of the year and bonuses and other things for his employees, so he rewards his employees. So I think there's some really good cases to be made for using the business credit card and using it instead of that business debit card, which does not have any protection for fraud under federal law. There's no fraud protection for business debit cards under federal law. And then getting away from writing checks. I mean, if you have to use a check, great. But if you don't, if you can use the credit card, it's a much more rewarding way to spend. And then in terms of APRs and rewards, the business rewards are lucrative and the APRs are competitive. So just like with a consumer credit card, the interest rate that you get approved for as a small business owner on a small business credit card is going to likely be, at least in some part, tied to your credit scores. And what lower credit scores get lower interest rates on credit cards. So you're probably going to see some tie-in there, and your interest rate will vary. There are some small business credit cards that have some very good introductory offers, some very good balance transfer offers. And one thing I often point out to business owners is that even at 18%, a small business credit card can be a lot cheaper than other types of financing that you may get quickly as a small business, especially a young small business. So I see folks who are using PayPal Working Capital, for example, and they're paying maybe 30%, but their 18% business credit card might have been a cheaper option. So make sure you understand those costs and you're comparing them. And when you do that, I think you'll find out that often the credit card may be a reasonable source of financing. Maybe not the cheapest, it's not an SBA loan, but it can also be a reasonable source of financing. All right, if you have questions, please put them in the comments. I'd love to answer your questions about business credit cards, love to focus on that. So Arlen had asked in advance, this wasn't specifically about business credit cards, but I think it ties in well to that. He said, how can I circumvent poor personal credit as a business owner? So Arlen, I want to give you some encouragement. At NAV, we think that both business and personal credit is important, and so we want you to work on both. But the good news is that you can still work on your business credit even if you have poor personal credit. I profiled an entrepreneur on the NAV blog, Ann Courtney Olson, and her story was very inspiring. She started her business when her credit scores were in the 500s. And she did hire a credit repair company, got some stuff disputed and offered credit report. Then she came to NAV and she used a tool we have at NAV called Match Factor. And that helped her find some credit cards that she could qualify for. So she got these credit cards, started paying them on time, keeping the balances low. And her credit scores, started slowly inching up there. And she now has, I think one of the bureaus, she's now over 700 with her credit score, and the rest are all in the high 600s. And it's a relatively, reasonable period of time that she saw some significant progress. So don't let it discourage you. If your credit's not perfect, you can still work on it. I would encourage you, if you have a free NAV account, to check out Match Factor, because it will help you understand which business credit cards are a fit right now based on your qualifications. So you can shorten that search a little bit and find better credit cards that are a good fit for you. And then the second thing I would encourage you to do is work on starting to build your business credit. So even though this doesn't directly impact business credit cards, because most of them are going to make the decision based on the owner's personal credit, it will help you get other types of financing as you're working on your credit. So I'm going to link to an article down below. If you go to nav.com/vendors, that's going to show you companies that will that will not check personal credit and will extend business credit. Net 30 terms is what it's called. It gives you 30 days to pay the bill, and will report those payment histories to the business credit bureaus. So that's a great way to get started building business credit. It's a very simple way to start that process, so you can get that going. Of course, you want a NAV account, because with NAV is the only site where you're going to see your free business and personal credit data in one spot. And then you use that to help find financing offers that are a fit using our Match Factor technology. And I'll give you a pro tip here, Arlen. When you set up your NAV account, be sure to link your bank account. That's read-only access, but what it does is it increases your financing matches, because some lenders are looking for information